I have one final question, then we're going to open it up, which you've already, I think, covered some of this, Bill. We're here in the task force today. You were a co-founder of the task force. Mark Rosenberg was CEO of the task force. Dave Ross, who is now the CEO, is also with us today. And so the question really is your advice to folks here in the room. They're involved in a range of global health programs, and the task force is unique in some respects, as you very well know. What advice would you give to folks here who are doing the incredible work of the task force, particularly given the entrepreneurial spirit, the ability to pick a problem and work on it? Are there certain attributes or certain skills, things of that nature, that are important? And what advice would you give to people in terms of developing their ability to serve the mission of the task force?
Well, I usually say this to people younger than you, students who are asking that question, and I tell them to try to be a specialist and a generalist simultaneously. A generalist to understand as much about the world as you can and how it operates and the history and why did things happen. Not because of the usual comment to avoid mistakes, because you won't avoid mistakes, but you will come up with an idea that everything we face today has a history, and therefore everything that you do today has a future. And so try to be a generalist and learn as much as you can, and then be a specialist so that you have a specific skill to bring to that generalist situation. So that's one piece of advice. The second piece of advice would be try to avoid certainty. And it's Richard Feynman who said that certainty is the Achilles heel of science and the Achilles heel of religion and the Achilles heel of politics. That he said even physics, which is the most certain of sciences, is uncertain. And I see that because I can still see the periodic table that was on the wall in my classroom, and the atomic weight of hydrogen was 1. And now, if you look at a periodic table, it's 1.0093 plus or minus. Even that isn't certain. I mean, that, and Richard Feynman said this in 1963 at a lecture that he gave at the University of Washington, but he said it after he had been shaving one morning, looking in the mirror, and saying the explanation physicists have always given for why left and right is reversed can't be true, or top and bottom would be reversed. And so suddenly he had to go back to the beginning and try to rethink what was happening. And he said that physicists have been so certain in telling us why they're reversed, and they're wrong. They've been wrong all this time. So avoid certainty. And third piece of advice I would give is some of the people here knew Hod Ogden, who was a very gifted writer at CDC. On his deathbed, he asked Cappy Lord if she would write his obituary. And then he went into a coma, and emails went out that he was in his final hours. But he surprised everyone by waking up the next morning. And then over the days, he became better and better. And he always said it was so much fun to pick up conversations that had been abruptly halted, but that the most fun of all was the chance to edit his obituary. And so my advice to you is you are editing your obituary every day, and wake up thinking about that.